Hey everyone, Tony George, Doc Sports Tuesday update, free play, talking about my Royals local team. Well, local team until next Wednesday. I fly back out to Vegas for a while. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about the Royals and Twins tonight in a crucial game in the AL Central and in the wild card race. Probably the biggest game on the board today. There's another big game on the board, which is a 6-unit top pick totals play. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's get to this game, then we'll tell you what's going on, including a podcast schedule update. So stay tuned for that as well. We got some big names coming on here in the next week, and the launch of the Gridiron Six-Pack with Griff Murphy next Tuesday, which was a show we did last year with over 100 games given out for free, and we hit 68.7% against the spread. Over 100 plus game sample size. I think it was like 107 games. So you might want to heads up on that since you're here for free winners. We didn't get a free winner last night. We won on the premium side of things, but we did not get home with the free play. So let's get you one here today. In Minnesota, at home, taking on Kansas City. They were a winner last night against Kansas City. Kind of blew them out. And Minnesota has owned Kansas City in the AL Central this year. Kansas City's been a big surprise this year for a lot of people in Major League Baseball. They weren't even in the conversation as a playoff team, and they're right in the wild card hunt and playing very well. The 65 wins on the year so far. But Minnesota's 6-2 against Kansas City at home, laying a $135 tonight. The totals in those four games have split 4-4. Went over last night. Seth Lugo takes the hill for Kansas City tonight. Now, he has a 2.72 ERA and been a good starter for him, but his last 5 starts, he slipped and fallen a little bit. 4.54 ERA. And we always talk about right here, right now versus season-long stats. You want to look at the last 3 to 5 games, especially with pitchers. 2 of his last 3 starts, he gave up 6 runs in each of those 2 games. He did go 8 innings against Detroit 2 starts ago, only gave up 1 run, I think 3 hits. Don't quote me, but something like that. But still, he's given up 13 runs in his last 3 starts. But if you take a look at this game for what it is, Minnesota has yet to name a starter. They're either going to go with Louis Varland, who is had 6 starts this year, 0-4, with a 6.46 ERA, or they're going to go with Zebby Matthews, who's a AAA prospect. I just think that's death smoochie against Kansas City, who knows they need this win. These guys are second and third in the AL Central and in the wild card race I mentioned. This is a big game. I think it's a big game for Kansas City to get over the hump. I think Lugo will perform better in this game. I think it's a crucial start for him. Kansas City overall probably is the better team. Their bullpen, Minnesota's bullpen last 3, 6.90 ERA. And if they go behind Varland, who's got almost a 7 ERA, or they go behind a AAA prospect against a Kansas City lineup that can be pretty lethal if they're dialed in, I just think there's value with Kansas City at plus 115. That's my head and not my heart. Even though I'm wearing the Royals hat, that's just to promote the free play. Give me the Royals as an underdog to bounce back in this game tonight and get a win at Minnesota. Now, over at the website, we have a 6-unit totals play today, top pick. And we also have a 3-unit run line system play. Run line system play yesterday got it done. I had a totals play in the Milwaukee LA Dodgers game. Brewers, 2 runs, the way they've been batting. Yeah, I missed that one. But the 3-unit play at plus 160 or plus 140 got it done for you on the run line system play. So we have a 3-unit run line system play and a 6-unit totals play. We've hit 5 out of our last 6 top picks. It's been about a week since we had one. But we're ready to pull the trigger tonight. Real good setup. Could have bumped it to 7 units, but didn't. I like 6-unit play here. Let's get 9 units and roll. I'm going to pass in the player props. I've just been in a slump in player props. I'm going to be very selective between now and when the regular season NFL starts, and then we'll start kicking. But we did real well with these player props last year in the NFL. And got another guy on board who's a huge fantasy guy that knows all these props and this, that, and bets the props as well. But he's a huge, accomplished fantasy guy. That happens to be a friend of mine out in Vegas, and I brought him on board to interject his opinions with the props. So we'll be looking forward to that. Now, podcast schedule. This Friday, Chris Schmidt, lead host of Hell Varsity Radio, 1480 ESPN in Lincoln, Nebraska. Just back from Big Ten Media Days. We have Chris on every year. Chris and I worked in radio together back in Lincoln when I lived there in the late 90s and early 2000s. He actually started out being my intern and my producer for the Tony George Show, which was syndicated way back in the day, and graduated up to co-host the Average Joe Sports Show with me and Bill Dolman, who Bill Dolman went on to be ESPN's Big 12 play-by-play basketball guy, and then host of the Mountain West Network till that went defunct. He's done some work with the Houston Rockets, and now Bill does the Olympics for NBC. And some national stuff, but so kind of a heavyweight lineup there on the Average Joe Sports Show in Lincoln back in the day. Everybody kind of went on to do their own thing, but Chris is the lead host of that network, knows Nebraska football, which is an interesting subject this year with Raiola at quarterback, which 5-star, which transferred from Georgia and will start for Nebraska, it looks like, as a true frosh and a tremendous talent. A lot of transfer portals, a lot of big-name recruits in there. And, of course, the Big Ten bringing on some guys from the Pac-12. Schmitty will break it all down for you there. Next Tuesday, not only do we launch the Gridiron Six-Pack, which I alluded to earlier, 68% winners last year with Griff Murphy, our future show is next Tuesday. And right after that show, Matt Humans joins me to talk NFL and college football season win totals and futures bet. Now, Matt Humans is the host of VSiN Tonight, VSiN Network there in Las Vegas, broadcast every night right out of the Circus Sportsbook from the Visa Studios. I'll be doing a show with Matt out there next week, either Thursday or Friday night. So if you're in town for contest weekend at Circus, swing by. I'm going to go on probably around 9 o'clock, and I'll be in and around the Mega Bar as well there at Circa, and doing a lot of things, signing up for the Millions, signing up for the Survivor. I'll be out there all next week doing some radio row stuff with Kiev from Oddsbreakers and all kinds of different things. Hanging out with Griff Murphy and some other of the Doc Sports guys, so be sure and if you're in town to let me know. But nonetheless, we got Matt coming on, as well as launching the Gridiron Six-Pack next week. And both those will be up on Tuesday before I exit stage right, fly over the Rockies, land back in Vegas, and get back to out of this rainy, humid, mosquito-biting, infested Kansas City area into the dry heat of the Las Vegas desert, which, I still kind of consider home. Nonetheless, Doc Sports, place to be. Free $60. Link in the description below. Be sure or on the website, there's a tab. Just be sure and get over the website. Sign up for your free $60. Hassle-free, strings-free if you've never been a member. And it comes with a profit guarantee. Great day to do it with a big top play in baseball. Or put it towards a season pass or a monthly package in baseball, season pass in football. We're ready to go. NFL preseason, my top pick, which is a 3-unit pick only of the NFL preseason, will be in week 2, and all preseason picks will be out on Thursday after 4 Central for the entire week and weekend. And we'll have probably 3 plays for you again, 2 and 1 last week. Our top pick of the week was a 2-unit play on the Eagles, which got over on the Ravens. That Ravens streak is maybe dwindling a little bit. Boy, they rode that forever, though, didn't they? Nonetheless, we also may have a StreamYard podcast later this week with Griff Murphy. That's my raw, candid, unfiltered personal podcast. I'm waiting to get verified on Twitter Premium so I can do it on Twitter. I used to be able to do it on Twitter, but without the premium access, it won't simulcast on Facebook and Twitter at the same time, so I had to upgrade. And, of course, I'm waiting for approval. And, of course, with me, there's probably an extensive background check. So once that happens, we'll do a StreamYard podcast with Griff Murphy and do the Vegas beat for you this week. We're going to have some interesting guests on that as well upcoming. Stay tuned.